Kadogaya, I am Marolt and welcome to week 1 of the, well, PCL season 3. I have this battle is going to be a post-commentated one because of one reason. I commentated the first match live, but because I made a mistake and my Pidgeot, as you can see, if I don't know if you can see him here, he is mega evolved already, and yeah, that's why my opponent and we had to replay the match because it was my mistake, and yeah, that's basically it. So at first a team, I had a specific team here. Wait, I can do this, right? And wait, this is all right. God damn it, I'm so prepared for this. And let's see, week 1, import, export, blah 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 blah, and we can go here, play online, team builder, new team, boom, there we go, save. And yeah, so quickly, the team which I brought was first Cloyster. It was a special lead set, well, max attack, max enough speed to outspeed the Muk and the Azumarill, and well, the base 50s with 8 in HP, I mean with 8 in special attack, meaning that I can guarantee knock out a Dawn Fan from full with Hydro Pump into Ice Shard. So it's not really a knockout, but it is a knockout, god damn it. Hydro Pump into Ice Shard is a definite 2-hit KO on the Dawn Fan. The rest in HP just because I didn't really need it. And yeah, Ice Shard, Icicle Spear, Hydro Pump, Spikes. This was my lead set, kind of the suicide lead set. And yeah, that's it. Moving on was the way when I was building the team, this is what I thought when, you know, so let's move you here. Our Bird Jesus, the Mega Pidgeot, destroys his team. Okay, there's really no doubt about it. The only thing that could take a heat wave, I mean a hurricane, is Silvally if he brought the Steel type, which in fact he did, but Silvally Steel type doesn't really get any good recovery. I mean, it doesn't get recovery at all, so it's easy to wear down with Spikes, which is why I brought Spikes too. So just in case if I couldn't wear down the Silvally Steel, I brought here Choice Banded Arcanine, because he also didn't have very good switch-ins for this. The Chandelure takes a Flare Blitz because of Flash Fire, but with Flash Fire it can't really do anything back to me. And I can knock it out with Crunch, which kind of came in handy later. And also when we played the first game, spoilers, I won the first game, and then we had to replay it. We both had the opportunity to change our team. And the only thing I changed, I made my Sylveon here specially defensive instead of, I had special attack investments in the first game, which wasn't really good. You'll see later when am I recording even? Yeah, okay, I am. When I will show the replay. So, Moonblast, Wish, Baton Pass, and Protect. In the first set, I had Moonblast and Hyper Voice, and I didn't have Protect, which was actually a stupid idea, because I thought Kumo will, if it has Soundproof, it's gonna be immune to my Hyper Voice. If it has Bulletproof, I thought it was going to be immune to my Moonblast, which is why I brought both. But turns out you can hit Moonblast through Bulletproof. I didn't know that, and in the second game I didn't really need my Sylveon, but it was in the back. Okay, so yeah, Choice Bandit, we said Arcanine, especially defensive, Chica, the Sylveon. Next we have Emerald, our Latios, Standard Life Orb, Roost, Thunderbolt, Siren Shock, Draco Meteor. He doesn't really have any good switch-ins. My opponent didn't have much good switch-ins for this Pokemon, except the Azumarill could take a Thunderbolt, but it doesn't appreciate it could take a Draco Meteor, but it doesn't appreciate a Psyshock or a Thunderbolt, which is why that coverage takes care of it. At first I was thinking about like maybe a Dragonium Z with Dragon Dance and Draco Meteor, but I changed it last minute. And finally, we have Reichenburg, the Fortress with Rocky Helmet, Stealth Rock, Toxic Spikes, Toxic, and Rapid Spin. I decided to go Rocky Helmet instead of Leftovers in the second game. You will see why. And yeah, Toxic Spikes were would be nice if the second game I had full switch the first game, but I thought, hey, if I get the Toxic Spikes, that means that everything gets worn down except for the Silvally Steel, and Muck could absorb the spikes, the Toxic Spikes, which is why I didn't, in the second game, I didn't even try to set them up. I wasn't really expecting the Muck to come the second game, but it did, and yeah, okay, so this was the team. I was actually quite happy. I was expecting a win, not to sound cocky or anything, but his team is just not really the best. He doesn't have any answers. Oh, and by the way, his team will be on the screen. It is for the whole time. So yeah, okay, that should be okay. So it just doesn't have any good switch-ins for my Bird Jesus, and you'll see that in the end, in both games, Bird Jesus did in fact, well, take lives. So here we have the first game. I'm gonna show off both because wait, we can turn the music off. So wait, slow down. So yeah, let's start. As I said, I lead Victoria. It was my, okay, go normal speed. My lead set, and I know that anything he goes for will in fact bring me down to focus sash. I was minus special defense nature, and I was thinking, okay, so maybe he fears the water type move, so he'll switch out, and he does switch out. In fact, I go for spike, set it up, and he goes into Demigod, the Silvally. It is a steel type. Here I was wondering what can he do actually to my Cloyster, and I didn't know at the time that multi-attack is a physical move, which is why I switched out. It was okay that I did, because multi-attack didn't do much, 21%, that's decent, that's damage. And he switches in his Dawn Fan. I go for Crunch because I was definitely expecting him to go into the Chandelure to take, well, the fire type move, but I guess he had the Dawn Fan as the freaking switch-in for the Arcanine, which is not actually a switch-in. It takes like 70% max defense. Here I expect the Rapid Spin. I know he would want to switch into his Rapid Spin. To Rapid Spin. And here you can see that my Mega Pidgeot is already evolved. Mega evolved because, well, we played the custom game in Pokebank 7th Gen OU Pokebank. Pidgeotite is not released, so we had to play a custom game. And when I was preparing on Showdown, well, I automatically put in Bird Jesus as Mega Pidgeot, and so this is why his form was already this. I don't think it mattered at all, because I switched it in on a Rapid Spin, and Mega Pidgeot gets 5 defense boost when it Mega Evolves, so it would probably do 8 instead of 7.5, so I don't really think it was necessary to play the game, which is why we decided, well, on our group chat, the champ decided that we should play again, and if I win more than 1-0, it's gonna count the first, as the first, well, game, because spoiler, the first game was a 1-0. So here he goes for Ice Shard, doing some damage, and yeah, Hurricane knocks it out. He switches into his X-Cloud. I'm pretty certain that he is Scarfed. In fact, he wouldn't bring it in if he wasn't, or he was bluffing. It was a good bluff. And here, let me stop this. So I switch out into my Reichenburg. I know I can take. I know I can take anything. I know I can take not anything, not a Fire Blast, but I know I can take the Blizzard. But no, here comes, boom, critical hit and a freeze. Okay, and I was extremely thrown off by this critical hit. It was really unfortunate, and yeah, I was thrown off. I didn't kind of think straight when this happened, so I was playing kind of on tilt for the end of the game. But here I predict the fire move. I switch into my Arcanine, and at this point I had the Flash Fire boost. I know I wanted to go for a Flare Blitz, but honestly I didn't have the balls to do it, and because I was thinking, you know, I can still win even if I go for Crunch. And he does in fact switch out, which would be great if I went for Flare Blitz or Wild Charge. But anyway, Crunch does still decent damage. 78, that's enough. And here I switch back into my Reichenburg. And as you can see, 29, if max physical defense, the bunny can't do anything. So this is why I changed it to Rocky Helmet in the next game, because you see two hits would have brought it down to more than 50%. It would like 32 or something like that. No, around 40%. But yeah, I stay frozen. I went for Stealth Rock there. I went for Toxic. So I would have rocks up if my Fortress wouldn't freeze. I would have my rocks up. I would have damage on the Azumarill, which brings to this point. 74. He had to have had some special defense investments, because max HP Azumarill takes 74. No, takes 76% from a Life Orb Thunderbolt Latios. So he had to have had some special investments, or I got the lowest roll possible, which, I mean, rolls are not really crazy, but the Azumarill would die if I got some previous damage on with my Fortress. So I go into my Victoria, I take the bunny out with Ice Shard. I had 219 speed, so I outsped it. And here I Google and I see multi-attack, that's a physical move. So you can't really touch me with a physical move, right? And I decide to set up all my 3 layers of spikes, because, well, the Dawn Fan is dead and he has no other way of removing hazards. There we go. 3 layers of spikes are there, and now I go, hey, maybe if I live, the rolls were crazy from 23 to 25. It felt like 25 was the higher roll. God damn it, the higher roll. But maybe if I can live it, I go Hydro Pump for damage, and Hydro Pump misses. Okay, of course not. I mean, this in the end it didn't matter missing this Hydro Pump, but when playing, I thought for sure that he was gonna bring like the specially defensive Sylvari Steel just to take on my Pidgeot. Especially defensive takes like 40% from a heat wave maximum, and yeah, I mean, I was afraid that in the end Sylvari is gonna live the heat wave, but as it turns out, it didn't. So kind of hacksy game up to this point for my opponent. I mean, for me, from my opponent. And here I switch in Arcanine and pull a double, because I knew that he was gonna switch out, but he goes for the Parting Shot actually, which kind of caught me off guard. I mean, I knew he can do that, but yeah. Here I protect again, and I see the Boom Burst, and here's when I choked. I actually choked, kind of hard. I switch into my Sylveon. I know Sylveon can take at least 2. And because I didn't have Protect, here I take 39, no leftovers recovery because it was offensive, 44, and I go for the Wish. Okay, I went for the Wish. I didn't have Protect, so that was a stupid play. I should have just attacked. Hyper Voice would have killed the Exploud. But anyway, he makes a bad play, in my opinion, staying in with Exploud, because him letting me kill his Exploud with Arcanine, it was a mistake. He should have sacked something to Flare Blitz, because and because, I mean, I would die to recoil and the Scarf Exploit would have just won. But hey, I guess he decided to do that at that moment. Yeah, maybe he thought I was gonna die, but Arcanine just takes the hit. Here comes the Fetus, and I go for Hurricane. It does 54%, and I'm pretty confident that, well, he is gonna die to the next one. He gets leftovers recovery, and boom. No, looks like it was a high roll the first time, but we get the confusion, and I'm here like all desperate. I was halfway on jumping off my window because of the hacks game, and boom, Karma comes back. Justice is here. The Fetus died, and well, that means that Hurricane takes out the Shandy, and Heatwave takes out the demigod, the Silvally from 68. He was not specially defensive. If he were, he would live that. And my opponent was, as you can see, very upset because he lost to hacks, supposedly lost to hacks, but you know, it was justice in my opinion. Okay, and I'm kind of taking a long time for this, but so because of that, we played another game. This time my Pidgeot flaps its wings. It's in its regular form. And at first I didn't want to play the game. I didn't want to play the second game because I was pretty confident I'm gonna win even more than just 1-0. So yeah, we decided that if I win more, it's gonna count as a 1-0 loss for my opponent. So the same, as I said, I changed the Rocky Helmet and the Sylveon, it's defensive now. I see the Muk over the Chandelure, which I was kind of surprised with, but we can turn that off. So again, I know that I can set up a spike on his multi-attack, and this time he's more specially defensive. I can see that because, well, I outsped him this time. He made it completely specially defensive. So I switch out into my Reichenburg to get some damage and to get up some Stealth Rocks too. Here I know I was prepared for the Muk. I know it gets fire type moves, and because of that I switch out back to my Victoria. I was honestly sacking it. It got up the spike. It did its job, and yeah, I go for Icicle Spear to do some nice damage on the freaking Muk. I let him knock me out. Critical hit did not matter, and I switch in my Bird Jesus, and Bird Jesus takes a life. Well, yeah, this was my plan. Okay, I know that the Magic Baby, the fetus, what used to be, is not all right for us. And here again, I don't understand this play my opponent made, but I just went for Flare Blitz. There was no freaking Chandelure, and my Flare Blitz was free. And he goes for Calm Mind, which I think it wasn't the right move to make. But if he killed me, well, I just revenged it with my freaking Pidgeot again, and that would be it. So here he sends in his Donphan. I know that he would want to spin the hazards away, which is why I just go for Flare Blitz, and I was hoping to die in recoil, and because if I died in recoil, he wouldn't get the spin off. And it happened, so 52%, that's it, 2-hit KO, nice, and I died to recoil, yes. Arcanine did its job, the hazards are up, and Bird Jesus is in again. Here again, I scout with Protect to see what he wants to lock himself in. He goes for Blizzard. I have my calcs on my side, and I see that I live 100% of the time. 96 was the highest roll he could have possibly gotten, and he dies to a critical hit. That did not matter. It did a 78 minimum, so the crit did not matter. Here I go Blue Bunny again. I go into my Reichenburg. That's the safest play possible. Physically defensive. I throw off a Toxic. And at this point, my opponent didn't really have anything to do. I knew he was going to go for the Waterfall, which is why I switch in my Emerald and I click Thunderbolt. At this point, I mean, the win is pretty much mine, and my opponent knew that. But again, I mean, just to put some salt in the wound, I get the Para, and I was being kind of a dick about it because he gets paralyzed quite a lot. I missed the Draco Meteor, but I was sure he was gonna die from 35%, but hey, I was gonna be a dick about it, and it lived on 1%, but and it gets parried again. So I was, yeah, I mean, that's how I am. He was complaining about the hacks, and this was just salt in the wound, and he said in the one in the end, GG and fuck you. Well, thanks. So that is a 1-0 victory for the first week. Hopefully the next week I'll have the live commentary, because the second time when I played I didn't have time to record and it was already kind of late. So yeah, and the next week I hope it will be the live commentary. But yeah, we started with a victory, 1-0. Yeah, sorry about that. We started with a 1-0 victory, which is great, heading for that playoffs. Yeah, that was week 1. Thanks for watching. As always, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed and share with your friends, because that is always appreciated. Also, let me know what you think of the team, maybe what I could have done better. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that I had to play 2 games. I mean, it's not really a shame because I won the second one more comfortably. But you know, at least I know that now if I play a custom game, my Pidgeot needs to be non-Mega Evolved. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, I'm out.